Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast, where we drink and talk about movies from 2007.
The fourth dimension will collapse upon itself, you stupid bitch.
Shut up, I'm a man and I know what's good for me.
Bountiful penis. Amen.
Boy, my ass is sore.
You can get pink eye from farting in a pillow?
Yeah, but you gotta be bare-assed.
I'm gonna invent a toothbrush for your butthole.
It does the trick.
Paddington Bear.
He's a homewrecker?
Yeah, he wrecks homes.
You are a murderer of love.
I drink your podcast. I drink it up.
Welcome back to another episode of I Drink Your Podcast. I'm joined today by Emily.
Hello, everyone.
And we got Wesley back.
Fwah, fwah, fwah. Triumphant return.
That's right. And we are pleased to welcome with us today Katie and Brad from Well, I Liked It.
Hi.
Hello. Super excited to have you guys on.
Ben, I think you said it wrong. It's like, well, I liked it, right? That's like how you say it. Jeez.
There's no wrong way. It's up for interpretation.
Yeah, I typed it without the ellipsis, so that's on me. So, what y'all drinking today?
Oh, I'm drinking detergent inspired by the movie. It's not actually detergent, but I tried to make it as detergent looking as possible. It is a very fine drink. I don't like tequila usually, but I even set some rosemary on fire to like make it extra fancy, but also inspiration of the police car at the end being on fire.
Wow.
Is super on point.
It's missing a Tide Pod garnish.
Oh my God.
So Gen Z of you, yeah.
I have not been feeling super well, as case in point, my absence for the last couple weeks. So I'm not drinking alcohol, but I am having something that I'm going to call a shitload of different shit. And honestly, it's just kind of like a V8 thing to kind of try to get some vitamins.
I am drinking some whiskey from Infused Spirits. It's not anything to do with the movie. I just like it. And it was on my bar cart. And it's also 3 p.m. in LA right now. So
yeah,
humble brag.
Emily's inspiring me. Yeah, I don't know. I just start drinking at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. No big deal.
I just got a bar cart with some delicious whiskey on it. Like, no big deal.
I'm just drinking this probiotic water because
yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's Saturday and I don't know. I just want to be healthy.
Boo.
I know.
Well, on the opposite end of whiskey-infused spirits on a fancy bar cart and healthiness, I threw it back to my high school experience, and I have the first drink I ever had, which is Bacardi Limon and Blue Gatorade.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. That is classy.
Wow.
It's disgusting. I also think one of my first drinks was something with Bacardi flavored of something. It was Dragonberry or watermelon. Ugh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel drunk through Ben right now, but I also agree. I think a lot of people's early experiences with alcohol were Bacardi related.
Mm-hmm.
Or UV.
Smirnoff.
Oh, that was mine. I was going to say Smirnoff. Yeah. Cherry Smirnoff. And I was like, this is disgusting. How do people drink this?
Really excited to have you guys on. Brad, why don't you tell us about Well, I Liked It.
Yeah.
See, I got it down that time.
That was perfect. That was solid. Our show is called Well, I Liked It. And we're a podcast where Katie and I just review movies that we loved as kids to see if we still like them today. So we watch like all of your favorites from like the 90s and early 2000s. Because we're like getting into those high school years. We're like, count it. That counts. So yeah, that's what we do. We talk about them.
Awesome. And do you have like a standout episode that you guys have done or a movie that you watched that like does not hold up as well as you hoped it would?
That does not hold up. Oh, we surprisingly like a lot of them.
Then your podcast is named
Well. One that was really surprising was actually Napoleon Dynamite because we went into it thinking, no, this is not going to be for us. And to be fair, it's still pretty dated and it is still like you remember those jokes, but we have a new discovered love for Kip.
Sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kip is fantastic. Highly recommend rewatching that movie just for Kip. So that was kind of a fun one.
Emily, I have to ask, have you seen it?
Of course I've seen it. I shouldn't say that, of course.
Don't say it, of course.
I know.
Don't use that tone.
No, I love your Goonies episode. That was the first one I listened to. And I was like, oh my God, I love this.
That was a little embarrassing. We had never seen the Goonies and we had to, we have to do our due diligence.
I don't know. I felt like a betrayal to all millennials everywhere.
Yeah.
And Brad, with us being a 2007 podcast, what were you up to in 2007?
Oh, I was in college. It was my freshman year of college. I started in 2006. So I was just a year over what they would have been. So this movie came out at the perfect time for me. I was like, oh yeah, that was me a year ago, man. I'm so grown up now in college. Finishing freshman year. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Hanging out with these kids.
Yeah, cool. And how about you, Katie?
Oh, this is my biggest flex I'll ever have. This is why I asked Emily to invite ourselves on this podcast. In 2007, I was interning, which is a very nice term for literally, I was just following this sound designer as she went to a few different projects over the summer. And one of the projects she worked on was the DVD release for this movie, for Superbad.
Wow.
So I watched this movie a good 50 times, just watching them watch how the sound is working, what they had to tweak. And I had watched this movie because they were doing that over the summer. And I think it was released in the winter time. And I was like, my friends, this movie's coming out in 4 months and I can't tell you anything about it, but it's great. And they talk like we do, so that was why I invited myself to your party.
We're glad you did, because we appreciate all the perspective that I'm sure you guys are going to be able to provide for this movie. So typically we ask about the movies that shaped you. Do you each have one movie that really describes your movie fandom?
This is something I was watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last night. And one of the new housewives is married to the director of The Lion King. And The Lion King is my movie. That movie when I was a kid was the shit. And I was like, there's never going to be a movie better than this. And this is a story I haven't talked about this, Katie. Okay. I won Prom King, and the dance they played because they knew that I was going to win was Circle of Life.
Oh my God. That's so cute.
No, it wasn't Circle of Life. It was Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Oh, that's even more adorable.
Either way.
Sexier.
We all knew it was from Lion King. Yeah.
See, Brad, I have a different connection to that. I lost my virginity while watching The Lion King.
What? So same.
Was it to that scene when those lions were doing it?
I don't think it was, but
it was the Nala eyes, and then they both knew it was go time.
It's going down.
And Katie, how about you?
Oh, Lion King or no kidding. I would say one of the movies that I think I was trying to think about this question because I love movies for all different kinds of reasons. They don't even have to be good or anything. But one of my favorite movies, and we did it on the show, is a Goofy movie.
Yes.
Aww. Because we watched it again and I was like, it still holds up. The music is still great. It's such a sweet, heartwarming story. It's funny. It's bright. It's colorful. So that's a movie that if you want to watch it, yep, absolutely. Let's watch it. Happy to watch that. Yeah.
I love color.
I love color. I love fun. I love music. I love a Michael Jackson ripoff. It's all great. Yeah.
Shout out to friends of the podcast, Cinephiles, because I know that one of our recordings that we had with them, Rashawn was wearing a Powerline t-shirt.
Oh, that was great. It was pretty cool. I just watched that movie for the first time this year, and I loved it.
I need to rewatch it.
During the first half of our podcast, we'll be discussing and reviewing Superbad, and the second half features our Battle of Twits, a creative competition this week featuring Katie versus Brad.
Bum, bum, bum.
And our current leaderboard is Wes with 6, Matt with 5, Guess with 2, myself with 1, and Emily with 0. And the guests are down to 2 because they cashed in their points last week, and they assigned us to draw anthropomorphic self-portrait penises of each of us.
Yep.
So in line with this movie, we're going to draw pictures of penises that we think represent us in line with the penis drawings of Superbad. So that'll be coming out around the time this episode releases. So check out our Instagram and Twitter for that. Maybe not Instagram. We're still questioning if we can put penises on Instagram.
Even if they're cartoon.
Okay.
My drawing's not going to be good enough to get flagged.
This bird is beautiful.
as I said, we are watching Superbad this week, directed by Greg Mottola, featuring Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Emma Stone, and Seth Rogen.
Wait, you changed your name to McLovin? McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin?
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between that and Muhammad?
So Seth, played by Jonah Hill, and Evan, played by Michael Cera, are high school seniors and best friends who are facing a future apart from one another at different colleges. They get invited to a party by Seth's crush, Jules, played by Emma Stone, and Seth offers to buy alcohol for the party using their friend Fogel, who recently acquired a fake ID. The alcohol purchase goes wrong when a robber punches Fogel and steals from the till, causing the cops to arrive on the scene.
Everyone looks so young in this movie. Like, I know everyone, and I haven't seen this movie before. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my God, everyone looks like babies. Like, Seth Rogen looks like such a little kid, even though he's like 20-something.
I had to Google it. He was 25. He was much younger in this than I thought.
Oh, wow.
I saw it when I was like a kid. I thought he was like 30s at that point. He's like 25. He's really young.
I was watching it and I was like, am I into a young Seth Rogen? Like, I think I'm into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when he got on Freaks and Geeks, he was barely 18 when he first got on that show. So, yeah. And he actually wrote this script with his buddy named Evan around the time that he started filming Freaks and Geeks. So while they were in high school, they wrote this story together. And it took many years for them to really perfect the script and find the heart behind the story. But once they did, I mean, it turned out to be what we saw, which I'm going to not bury the lead here and say I love this movie.
Same.
Why do you love this movie?
I truly love the relationship between Seth and Evan. I think it's got a lot of heart behind it. I think they're really cute together, especially at the end, which we'll talk about. I also love the interactions that Jonah Hill has with McLovin in this movie. Anytime McLovin says something and Jonah Hill's reaction shots usually get bigger laughs out of me than some of the lines. Like, I just love Jonah Hill's reactions to him.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. It's honestly one of the movies I've probably seen the most. I watched it a couple weeks ago and Emily yelled at me and she said, why did you watch this? We're going to do a recording of that soon. And I said, I don't give a shit. I'll watch it again. And then we actually all watched this together virtually. And it honestly was probably the most enjoyable time I've ever watched this movie. And then I watched it again before we started recording this. Like, I absolutely love it.
And Wesley, why was the second time in the last, couple weeks the most enjoyable for you?
Honestly, it was one of the first times I had ever kind of looked at it more critically. Not that there's a ton to judge. It's not like a super cinematic masterpiece or anything, but watching it through a different scope, it's always funny. And then, to be honest, my favorite part of it was watching with Emily, who hadn't seen it before. And I didn't have to look at the screen to know what was going on. So I could look down at my computer and just watch her reactions to some of just the insane things that happen in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very enjoyable. And I think the reason this is one of my favorite movies is because Seth and Evan and other people kind of look like a bunch of different friends that I had in high school, which we discussed a lot while we were watching it. But that's always kind of been true, and it just makes it more relatable. And it was so witty for the time and surprising. So it's always going to have a special place in my heart.
Emily, did you not like it? You're asking why we liked it, like you're not a big fan of this.
No, I really liked it the first time. I watched it again today just because I wanted to look at it when I wasn't distracted by the two of you like talking the whole time. Because like the jokes come so quickly. And I will say, I get what you're saying, Ben, about the heart. The best friends and like how they establish their friendship right away. Like even just the opening credits when they're doing their dance and it's super cute and adorable. And then it goes right into Seth on the phone with his best friend, Evan, as he goes to pick up his best friend and they like walk out together and
talking about porn sites.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, you just like get their friendship right away. They don't keep secrets from each other. And you know, the conflict comes in pretty quickly. Although I think even though it still has a lot of heart, I think there are a lot of flaws with some of the stuff nowadays, like looking back on it. And so This time, the second time watching it, it bothered me more because a lot of like the Fogel comments that use some very homophobic language and connotation, I was like, oh, I didn't catch that last time. So although a lot of it's really great, I still had this icky feeling the second time I watched it.
Katie, Brad, how about you guys?
Yeah, I felt the same way. When this movie came out, I was like, this is me. This is my friends. This is like our story. I could see, like, I had like Jules' little weird tube top that goes down like below her jean skirt. I was like, this is a movie that talks like what we talk like. And this is like what we, and it's aged pretty badly. That is not like, it's this weird complex of like, I can't believe that's how it was acceptable to talk and to be, but it really was. Like, that's just like what you talked like, and that's what you and your perspectives were. But nowadays, the whole thing is about them trying to get these girls drunk enough, and so they're drunk enough so that they can have sex with them. Yikes. Like, that's not great. But it is also like, Brad and I have talked about this before, the whole like trying to lose your virginity concept is something that I just don't think would ever be a plot line nowadays in movies. It's just not the same. Like, people aren't trying to search for it. People are, the sexuality comes in all different shapes and sizes. It comes a lot later for kids nowadays. It's not weird if you're a virgin that goes to college. So I had those complexities too. I will say also that when I was watching it again, maybe because I had to watch it literally like 50 times that summer, but I have it in my brain. I could quote this entire movie. There's no extra layers to it for me that like there was a new thing to discover. It was all really pretty much on the surface. But that being said, Jonah Hill, incredible, funny, amazing comedic actor. Michael Cera, bless him. And this was his heyday. Like he was so funny. And like the way he would kind of respond to, these weird little like, it's like he tries to find, it's like they had a thesaurus for the script. Like, what's a different word for this? I'm going to say this, So yeah, I'm kind of torn on it.
Absolutely nailed it. Like it doesn't necessarily hold up that well, but it's still just so much comedy that isn't problematic that I think it kind of carries it. And I don't know if you guys have seen much of our social media, and I'm really sad that Matt's not here today because Matt is Michael Cera.
Yeah. We started talking when we were watching this movie together, and Wesley and Ben were like, yeah, we just imagine Matt whenever Michael Cera is on screen. And I was like, holy shit, this movie just got like 10 times funnier to me. Sorry, Matt, we love you, but you're awkward as hell.
Oh, he knows. He knows.
Yeah, I had the same thoughts about the movie, but I will say this, like when I saw it in 2007, I loved this movie and I connected with it so much. Even though I didn't have friends like this, like I didn't have that many like male friends. I didn't have any male friendships when I was a kid. So I didn't really have these relationships. So but I always sort of like made it always felt like something that I had missed out on. You know what I mean? So that's what like I loved about this movie. And it really is about the relationship between the two guys. And I think that's something that translated a lot to like men of our generation, like the millennials. I think a lot of them, like they connected and saw, it's like, it's okay to have other men in your life that you're friends with and just be friends with, and it's not a bad thing to tell them that you love them. But yeah, yeah, so that's what I love about this movie.
I think one of my favorite scenes in this first chunk was the scene in the home ec classroom, but not the whole weird like sexual things that Jonah Hill was doing to Emma Stone. That was just like super awful and gross, and I hated that. Mm-hmm. But how not only was Jonah Hill's character talking to the teacher, as a teacher, I just was like losing my goddamn mind. I was like, this is so funny to me. Him apologizing. I'm sorry for cursing. This is no offense. This is not, it was so funny to me. And he just keeps going and going and going. And then later, like throughout, you could see Michael Cera and his partner in the home ec class. They are just like having the best time.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. I love this dynamic of Michael Cera's character just being himself and being with his partner in home ec class and making tiramisu. It's so great.
Good shit, Miroki.
And there were like a lot of those moments where it was just really sweet. And also Jonah Hill would have these like intense monologues of just stuff. And it was embedded with a lot of fucks and shit and such.
Ugh.
It just captured the last like 3 weeks of high school for me, of just like, we are done. We are just going to get through making this tiramisu. We're going to go to other classrooms. It's just like, what are you going to do at this point? You know, I dare you.
And I love that Jonah Hill's character is essentially just like a high school version of any Vince Vaughn character, where it's just like the motor mouth, like constantly talking. I love seeing like a younger version of that rather than like a grown man doing it.
I think kind of what you said, Katie, about this being like how you end high school and just swearing all the time. One of the things that always kind of caught me off guard was the evolution of the swearing to where they aren't even swearing sometimes, like pee in the vaggie or Sesson dressing and dick in or around her mouth. Like that's not appropriate, but like that I feel like that's kind of, you know, how you evolved through comedy as you grew up is, you know, things are funny and then you swear a lot and then you figure out how to change that.
They definitely had an Urban Dictionary thesaurus, kind of going back to what Katie said. They had like stuff, just keep on going, and things that we had never even heard of. And it's so quotable too. A lot of the things that they say.
Oh, absolutely. I love People Don't Forget. Like that is my favorite thing. Go piss your pants again.
And just such a quick cameo from Dave Franco.
Yeah.
She had the biggest tits I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, I heard she got breast reduction surgery.
What? Making your tits smaller? That's like slapping God across the face for giving you a gorgeous gift.
She had back problems, man. And it's not just making them smaller. They completely reshape them. They make them more supple and symmetrical.
I gotta catch a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move.
After getting hit by a car, Seth blackmails the driver into getting them alcohol. But instead, the driver takes them to a party where they will be alcohol. The cops befriend Fogel/McLovin and agree to drop him off, but instead get called to a disturbance at a bar, which McLovin thwarts. McLovin and the cops spend time together bonding as Seth and Evan flee the party with stolen booze. As they're fleeing, Seth gets hit by the cop car, and the cops realize that the teenagers have alcohol on them. Fogel, Seth, and Evan flee from the cops and arrive at the party, where Seth finds out that Evan will be rooming with Fogel at college, causing a rift between the two.
We have to talk about Fogel. We have to talk about him.
Like just saying that they flee from the cops, but not mentioning that it's because they're going to try to get Fogel to help them keep it secret, and steps out of the cop car smoking a cigarette to the surprise of Seth and Evan.
The coolest he'll ever look in his entire life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what the actual fuck? This character, as annoying as he is, it was so funny. And like, Ben, as you were saying earlier, just seeing Jonah Hill's reactions, a lot of those were real reactions of him being frustrated at him. Because a lot of the stuff that he was saying, it was like funnier, or it felt funnier or something like that. And so I felt that a lot of the adventures with the cops were just some of my favorite parts. They were just so outlandish and silly.
Didn't Seth Rogen try to blackball and not have Fogel in this movie? I can't remember the
was that true?
name.
Yes, that is true. So they did an audition together, and Jonah Hill got so frustrated at McLovin's acting in the audition that he's like, I can't be in this movie with him. And they convinced him, they're like, no, he needs to be in this movie because that's how you need to react to this character.
This was his first movie he was ever in. Yeah.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse, just remembered.
Mm-hmm.
A future pedophile is what I think was the quote.
Oh my God.
With his ID?
Yes.
Yeah.
That whole ID scene is just rife with quotable lines.
Why the fuck would that be between that and Muhammad? Like,
Muhammad's the most popular name in the world. Read a fucking book.
Emily, you said that you loved the cop stuff. I know we were talking about things that I didn't think held up, and actually the cop stuff is the stuff that didn't hold up for me the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And because of the way that the cops treat Seth and Evan, once they suspect him and they kind of pull the gun on him and force him to the ground, and it's like,
okay, so once we hit that part,
Yeah.
no, that was not okay. The like prior to that of them just hanging out with this teenager, that was hilarious to me. But yes, I totally understand. As soon as we got to a part where they are
using their force,
yes, it became a huge issue, and that did not age well. But like prior to that, it was just hilarious. Bill Hader and Seth Rogen doing stupid shit with a teenager.
Them trying to broach the topic of race with the girl who works at the liquor store.
Oh my God.
Oh,
it's like, woo.
Yeah, I think the interaction between Bill and Seth is, I totally agree with Emily. Like there are so many things about this movie that make me crack up, but I think those, like just their one-on-ones quipping back and forth, that stuff is my favorite. But yeah, anytime, I mean, it's hard in 2021 seeing pretty much anything with a cop. So
that's true.
I think seeing them do their responsibilities or, not overusing their power, like whatever you want to call it, in the movie versus just like them being people. I think that's the big difference for me about when it's like still really funny versus didn't hold up well.
Because I felt that sense of like cop entitlement the entire time they were on screen, where they would like flip on their siren to run red lights, and it's like, thank you for portraying cops how some of them are, but like doing it for comedy didn't work for me. Watching it through today's lens.
That's a good point. I did think about that, but I forgot that that was in the movie.
For me, I felt a difference because this was also the time of like Reno 911 was huge. Like, was that Hot Fuzz and what was that movie? Super Troopers. All these were like huge at the time, of like, what do cops actually do behind the closed curtains? And for me, it didn't bug me so much of like running the red lights, stealing the beers, whatever. But then at the end where they're like, get down on the ground, hold hands. And then he hears a gun go off and he thinks his friend got shot. That's when I was like, ugh, like this is like, you're taking like things that like aren't mentally hurting anybody to like, this is trauma. Like would be different. So yeah, that was rough for me too, watching that.
Brad, did other things hold up for you?
I loved when they were in the liquor store. I love when he got punched. I thought that just so funny. I don't know. Honestly, like for the cop stuff, like I definitely like that definitely like bothered me. And I felt the same way when they were like running the red lights. I was like, oh God, like, yeah, they're dicks. And they're abusing that sort of like privilege. So that fell off. But then when I was watching so the whole scene where they were in the house party, like that also felt like very off too. And I was like, what the fuck is going on at that house party? Like the one with like the guys doing coke and them getting into fights, like 5 fights or whatever.
Right.
And like the adult, and I was like, I don't know how old these people are supposed to be. But I was like watching this. Old enough, but also like, what was the party? I was like, were they old enough to party? I just got that.
Well, I do have to say one thing that I did know from being on the backside of watching people make this movie. I had no part in it. Let me be very clear. But what they had told me was that a lot of the guys, like the guy who was sitting on the couch and said like, oh, that's period blood, blah, that was just a friend of theirs. And this was really pretty low budget because at the time it was really like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and now this. And this was sort of still like Judd Apatow becoming Judd Apatow at the time. So there wasn't a huge budget for this, so they're just like using people they knew. So it makes sense that all the ages would be all over the place. Cause I thought the same thing too. I'm like, is this a 40-year-old weird Coke party? Like,
yeah, what is this party? I thought it was like, at the end of the day, I was like, is this just a fight club? They just come because they just want to fight. They kept being like, there's going to be a fight tonight, man. There's going to be a fight. Like they were stoked about fighting the entire party.
So the two guys on the couch that confront Seth about the whole pants situation, I can't remember the guy who has more of the dialogue, but I know the other one is Jody Hill, who has gone on to do just a ton of stuff with the same group of actors. Like he created Eastbound and Down, the Righteous Gemstones, and a couple other stuff like that. So he's worked a lot with this group of people for a long time. And Ben, who was the other guy? Was he? I know that they were part of this movie, though.
I know the guy who makes the period comment. He was a writer with Jody Hill as well, and Danny McBride on Eastbound and Down, and on The Foot Fist Way, which was the movie that came out around this time with Danny McBride as like the karate instructor. And Danny McBride is supposedly in the background of the party somewhere. I still haven't been able to find him.
Oh my God. I'm going to go immediately watch that afterwards.
Just because I don't want to forget it. I do have to say, one of my only memories of watching this, and one of the things that they worked really, really hard on is in the parking lot where they're talking about, Michael Cera says, I brought a condom and I brought a tube of spermicidal lube. And he's like, why the fuck would you bring a tube of spermicidal lube?
One.
Yeah, just one little like sample pack. And in the DVD version, there's a version where Seth grabs it and then he chucks it and then it splats. And I had to sit in there and listen to 100 different splats. Like, is it like this?
Oh.
Is it like this? Like we had to sit there for probably a whole day talking about what would it sound like for a bottle of lube splatters. Like, and that's how people spend their day. Yeah.
Okay.
I totally remember that scene. And yeah, now realizing that watching it back on Netflix, that wasn't in there. Like, I wonder what else is on the DVD that I own.
Yeah, there's a couple different things.
Well, yeah, because the DVD is an unrated version, isn't it?
I think
there
so.
You go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the time of the unrateds.
Yeah.
Ooh, I was not into that. I also was not into the period blood joke. That was another thing that I was really uncomfortable with because first off, when Jonah Hill's like, you used me as a tampon, I was like, excuse you, as a pad.
Educate yourself.
Right.
Read a book.
Right. Snaps to Emily. Yes.
But like the whole thing, I was just so fucking pissed off. And I know that that's just me in 2021 reflecting back on things. But still, it's frustrating for me to sometimes go back to 2007 movies and go, God damn it, we were just idiots back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something so significantly more gross about a period blood than like normal blood to him, which I thought was really funny. He was like, I don't know, it's just blood. It's just blood. He's like, period blood. Whoa! Like, I don't know, it's a sign you got to dance with a hot girl. Deal with it. Yeah.
I think that kind of another fun part of this and maybe why it's so rewatchable and enjoyable for me is just that cast. You know, they've gone on to do so many just incredible things. So when I see Joe Latrulio hit Seth Rogen with a car, I think about Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And like, I immediately already think it's funnier than it probably was. So like, I think there's a lot to say about, you know, just having an extended career that's really successful that makes me like you, even if something isn't perfect or amazing.
No, I feel that way too with a lot of movies when I see actors or actresses from that are more famous now than they were. And I'm like, oh, because of that maybe emotional connection that I have to things that I've seen them in, I feel a little bit more willing to enjoy the movie if maybe it wasn't as good. Or if I didn't know who they were, maybe I wouldn't care as much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love you. I'm not even embarrassed to say it. I love you.
I'm not embarrassed.
Love you.
I love you. It's like, why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
I just love you. I just want to go to the rooftops and scream, I love my best friend Evan.
We should go up on my roof.
For sure.
Our three male leads each maneuver through the party, getting drunk and finding moments to be with the girls they're pursuing with varying levels of success. The cops come and bust the party, causing Seth to drunkenly carry Evan to safety. The cops burst in on Fogel having sex and confess that they knew the entire time that Fogel was underage. Fogel and the cops continue to bond while Evan and Seth confess their true feelings for one another. The two meet up with their crushes the next day at the mall and part ways, a metaphor for their acceptance of their futures apart.
Okay, whatever.
You don't like it? Write it yourself next time.
That's true. I was like, dude, I write them all the time. I got to go to this house inspection because we got a house. Ben, you write this shit.
Yep.
Brad, you didn't like the other party very much. How was this party?
I mean, it reminded me, I didn't go to many high school parties. I was not in the alcohol party club. But it did remind me of what I like what I thought high school like alcohol parties were at that time. Like people that I knew went, I was like, oh, this is very much like what it really felt like. So it felt authentic to me.
Well, I mean, and they really didn't even show all that much partying other than a couple scenes of, you know, like Seth having a shot and people going, oh, thanks, Seth.
Yeah.
Or, no, sorry. What's his name?
Evan?
Evan's in the bathroom drinking by himself, trying to get drunk enough.
Okay.
I was thinking someone's got to be knocking on the door. Who gets a bathroom that long to themselves in a party, especially a high school party?
That also just reminded me so much of Matt. Just the
Sad.
oh.
That did kill me as an adult. Something that kind of went over my head a little bit, I think, as a teenager, because I also didn't get invited to many alcohol party clubs. But I was like, oh God, he's just like trying to get it done. Like, and just, oh man, by himself. Like there's no fun. It's just function at that point.
Yeah.
Movies were my only frame of reference to any sort of party in high school because I did not go to any. I was very much a goody two shoes where my group of friends and my girlfriends, we would go and hang out in the woods pretending to be Disney princesses or elves and pretend to whack each other with sticks and swords. So that's what I did in high school.
None of those parties were showing Lion King.
It's, it's not bad for if there are any young people listening. You don't have to go to alcohol parties, but gang, I feel bad. I want to have an alcohol party with y'all because
what is this?
I mean,
this is great.
We're kind of there right now. Yeah.
I don't know, Wesley. You got sex during Lion King, you've got prom king, and you've got the girl who got to work on Superbad. Like, we probably missed out on some stuff.
We're bottom tier.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. My confidence just shot through the roof.
They think I'm cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Brad forgot who his prom queen was. I just have to say this, you guys. I put him on blast.
Oh, my God.
He didn't even remember her name.
We're Facebook friends still, though. So,
but yeah, so getting back to that party, like I was saying, like they really don't have many scenes, and that scene where Seth cheers himself is kind of like, as somebody who grew up not having a ton of confidence, like seeing that moment almost of realization with Seth, like, yeah, I'm fucking cool. And like, yeah, cheers to me. I did like that. And then the stuff, as much as it doesn't hold up between both of the bedroom scenes, but just that those conversations and some of the things that they say, oh my God, they are just so outrageous.
It is funny. When Michael Cera says, you are the prettiest girl this side of the Mississippi.
All of his lines, though, were so sincere, even when he was just blackout drunk. And so was it Becca, I think her name was.
Yeah. And
I'm just sitting there and he's just trying to be such a good guy and be like, no, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. This doesn't feel right. I'm like, oh, man.
I can't remember the exact quote, but one of the lines is, I'm wet. That's what they told us would happen in health class.
You've got such a smooth cock. You would too if
you. Everything he says is great. Like when he goes into the bathroom and he's like, this is fine. She wants to suck on your penis. Like, this is great. Like, he's like, but I think that felt more forgivable watching it these days because it's like, that is so like, you're told these are the things that are supposed to happen. You're told that this is how you're supposed to interact with someone you like sexually. It's like, how could you possibly just tell your feelings, But he knows it's wrong. And you see that conflict of him knowing it's wrong and resisting the fact that like the girl of his dreams is throwing himself at him, that I forgave it personally, even though the culture of it wasn't quite on point.
Yeah, actually, once they get to the party, the guy's pursuit of the girls, I actually didn't have much of a problem with. And I thought it held up pretty well because they gave, at least the girls had some agency in wanting these guys. And it was like when they were talking their big game about how they were going to go get them and the very like predatory nature of how they were going to go after these girls, that didn't work. But by the time it came to like the action part of it, where they're actually going to put their game into effect, I thought that was handled very well. And I thought held up quite well.
It felt very real, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It felt like those guys that you knew that would like talk mad game in high school about bullshit. And you're like, you're fucking lying. If you were ever with a girl, you know what you'd do? You'd like cream your pants and go home. Like, you're not cool.
and then you'd pass out and give her a black eye.
Yeah. Seth's only had 3 hand jobs and 3/4 of a blowjob, So like,
but whatever.
Whatever. Who's counting?
And this whole metaphor thing, Ben, this whole metaphor for the acceptance of their futures apart. I don't know.
Did you not get that? Did you not read into the subtext of that escalator scene?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh, come on.
I did think it was just a nice finish of them just like looking at each other being like, yeah, man, we're best friends forever. And that was what I got out of it. Sorry I didn't watch it 50 million times like you.
Didn't you say when we watched it after seeing that escalator scene that it could have been a freeze frame?
It could have been a freeze frame to me. Like 2007 movies have ended so often on a freeze frame. Let me tell you, we've watched so many freeze framed endings. And this one I was like, if it did, I wouldn't be mad about it if it was on Jonah Hill's face looking back at Michael Cera.
With so many phenomenal characters in this movie, which of them deserves a sequel? Like, which do you really want to see more of? Because that's something that Apatow does. Like, you had Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and then they kind of branched that off and did the Russell Brand, get him to the Greek movie, like just take a side character and build the world around him. Same thing with Knocked Up and This Is 40. Take those two characters, expand the world. Who in this movie would you like to see the world expanded for?
I'd like to see something similar to the way that Judd kind of extended the Freaks and Geeks into an Undeclared, which is like, I don't think there are any of the same actors, but like just the idea of that next step in life. I would love to see a college version of this broship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see Fogel and Evan in college, and then like Seth just like kind of abandoning his college to hang out at Dartmouth the entire time. Yeah.
Coming down for a weekend.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea.
That's great.
I think I would want to know what was happening at that first party. So I really want to know what the story is. So I want to follow the guy who hit them with the car. I want to know, like, why wasn't he supposed to get that party? What's his relationship with the people in that party? The guy who was from Grounded for Life, I don't know his name, the actor that's also in Grounded for Life, the TV show.
Yeah.
Eddie in Grounded for Life.
Guy.
Like, what was he doing there? Why was he so upset? The one who like tried to be upset. I want to know what the girlfriend, the fiance, whatever relationship. I want to know everything that happened there.
I want to know what the totally unviolent warrant that Joe Latrulio has out on him.
Yeah, me too. I want to know what that's about.
I would like to see who Jimmy is. Jimmy the singer.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Oh
that
my
was
God.
kind of what I was thinking of too. Like that group that was all hanging out and
Yes.
singing with Michael Cera. I was like, I want to know more about that group in particular. I think that would be just a really funny thing. I don't know why, but like Martin Starr is in there. A couple other famous people were in there. I don't remember their names. But the other one, and it's probably because I'm a teacher, I really want to know the home ec teacher's story because
me too.
I think that would be so funny. And especially in like a Judd Apatow universe, I think a teacher story needs to happen.
Absolutely. Because you got the Phi-Ed teacher, too, who's like trying to referee the soccer game on the field. When Seth comes running on. Like, yes, that was my idea, too, Emily. I love that.
Oh my God. It's because we're teachers. Fuck us.
Yeah,
I liked that idea, too.
Just to go back to the Jimmy thing, I think like a buddy comedy between Michael Cera and somebody else playing a character named Jimmy that looks like him, I think would just be so funny.
I would love it. Side note, I don't know if this is common knowledge, but Michael Cera, when he did that performance, the singing, apparently they only let him listen to that song twice. He had never heard it before. And so that's why when he's singing, he's like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wesley, you got any observations for us?
These are just a few of our incredible thoughts.
My observation this week is a little more literal because my favorite thing about this movie was getting to observe Emily watch this movie for the first time.
Aww.
So
I have funny
that's all I got.
faces.
Yes, you do.
Oh my God.
Ben, are we playing a game?
Okay! Game on! Game on! Game on!
We are playing a game this week, and Wesley's going to play as a welcome back gift to Wesley.
Oh shit, I forgot. Okay.
Okay, so the name of this game is called McLovin' That Name. So I'm going to give you real people's names.
Oh my
And
God.
you need to tell me if I find that name to be unfortunate or epic.
So this is 100% your opinion.
This is absolutely, it always is.
Well, to be honest, I'm glad I'm the one of us playing this because I feel like this would be really unfair for anybody else.
So I've got 13 names. They are in alphabetical order by last name, and put 60 seconds on the clock. And away we go. Holden Butts.
Epic.
Incorrect. Pterodactyl.
Epic.
Correct. Hashtag follow.
Unfortunate.
Correct. Adolf Gasser.
Unfortunate.
Yep. Jedi Knight.
That could go either way. Epic?
Yes. Jolly Mangina.
Epic.
No, incorrect. This person's a firefighter. His name's Les McBurney.
Oh, epic.
Epic, absolutely. Crystal Meth Van.
Unfortunate.
Correct. Jurassic Park.
Epic.
Yeah. Dick Shiner.
Epic.
No, that's unfortunate. Justin Sider.
Oh my god.
That took me a second.
Epic.
Yep. Sam Sung.
Samsung.
Yeah, works at the Apple Store.
Unfortunate.
No, it's epic. Paul Tucock.
Oh, epic?
No, unfortunate. How did he do?
7.
Way to go, Wesley. You did it.
Yay,
That was really
Wesley.
fun.
Congratulations.
Good game, Ben.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody.
Firefighter Les McBurney. That's my favorite one.
Was that real? Were they real names of real people?
These are all real names of real people.
How did you find
god.
Yeah.
Stop. I thought you were
I
making
found a
them up.
website.
Of just like weird names?
Yeah. Adolf Gasser is a film rental and store that you could like buy equipment from. I believe it's in San Francisco.
What?
Double
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it's closed down now. I would go to Adolf Gasser and I'm like, am I saying it right? Like,
Can I please be not saying it right?
yeah. Like, no, you're correct. Yep.
Emily, what did this movie teach you?
I'm learning.
Okay, this movie taught me a lot, but the biggest thing that I learned is that I need to always check my future kids' lunchbox for dicks. Like that is going to be the thing that I need to make sure I watch out for. So that is my big lesson. And I don't have any kids yet, but Ben, you better watch out for your daughter's lunchbox.
Her Scooby-Doo box is clean, let me tell you. There's nothing in that box. And let's jump to review. So, Katie, Brad, do you guys have a review for this movie and a rating?
I am going to give this movie a 3 out of 5 spermicidal lubes.
Yes.
And I think that I think we've talked about it a lot. There's a lot that does not hold up in this movie, and it can be problematic. But it is still fairly funny, and it does have a really good core relationship and so a little heart there. And you can tell that this was authentic to the writers. Like they clearly said this was us. So yeah, that's why I give it 3 out of 5.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Katie?
I'm going to have to go with 3 out of 5 Goldschlagers.
Yes.
It's a lot.
And yeah, it's a fair amount. For me, it just holds a really special place in my heart. I feel like so fortunate that I got to see this, and see it before other people did. And it felt like a very clear part of my high school, college, language, time capsule, as unfortunate as it is, but it still feels like that is kind of pretty close to what it was. But all that being said, we've talked it to death. Like it hasn't aged well. The jokes are just very timely for that time. I don't think that if you say these jokes today, they're necessarily going to land the same way. But there is really, really good comedic performances from the entire cast that is really, really fun to watch.
Thank you so much for your review. Before we get into Battle of Twits, there are some random movie characters coming your way. So Katie, Brad, you guys are battling. I'm going to give you a random movie character that you are going to choose to base your first answer around. So,
oh my God.
Wesley, can you roll the die to see who's going to go first?
Of course. Katie.
Katie's going to pick first.
Okay.
Katie, your 5 characters that you get to pick from are E.T., Genie from Aladdin,
Oh.
Ursula from Little Mermaid, Aslan from Narnia, or Frozone from The Incredibles.
Oh, I got to go my friend the genie. 100%.
Genie. Okay.
Aslan's the lion, right?
Aslan is the lion,
okay.
Yep. So, Brad, which one of those do you want? You can't have the genie.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So there's Aslan's the lion. Aslan? Clearly I should not pick him. And then there's the E.T., which I hate E.T. So I'm going to choose E.T.
I love it.
Awesome.
I'm going for a challenge. I like to play dangerous.
Great. I love it.
And now it's time to play Battle of the Don't Be a Hero. I hope you're ready for just a lot of quotes inserted randomly.
Yeah.
I will pose 3 tiny bottles of spermicidal lube to our people don't forget friends. Let them try to convince me who is going to be the Iron Chef of pounding Vaj. The winner of each round will get an $80 bill.
I forgot about that scene.
Second place will get something in or around their mouth.
Oh,
I will be more easily.
I'm so glad I took a drink when you said that.
I was gonna preface like I'm sorry ahead of time. Especially with everything we just talked about, this might be a bit much, but I will be more easily persuaded by the people who shot a cat last week. It was a dead cat. Yeah, but I still shot it. So, don't be heroes. Are you ready?
Ready.
Yes, ready.
All right,
ready.
So question 1, you were just given a random character, and this movie has a special place in my heart because a lot of these characters have moments that remind me exactly of so many of my friends from high school. So I need you to make up a new best friend for that character that you were just given. So can you please describe your random movie character's best friend from their teenage years? Their best friends need to be an original creation and should not be a character that we've ever met before or that already exists within another character's universe. We decided beforehand, and Katie is going to go first, and Katie has the genie. So let's hear it.
All right. My character might have to go to the judges for a ruling on this, but I'm prepared to defend it. My genie of the lamp's best friend is Shazam of the VHS that never existed. That is...
Shut up, Katie.
No, you shut up, Brad. You shut your mouth. Wait till your turn.
I love how heated this is before we're even more than one sentence into the first answer.
Shazam, the VHS that never existed, is still in the VHS. He never came out of the lamp. He never found his Aladdin. But 3,000 years ago, they were best friends. They were riffing off of each other. They were best buds because you don't get there unless you have someone that can feed into that quickness and that tit for tat, if you will. Yeah, that's what I got.
And the Shazam you're talking about is the one that's played by Sinbad. Is that correct? Just to...
It is not played by Sinbad, but it's played by Sinbad.
For sure.
I'm going to write down not Sinbad.
A Sinbad type is what I'm picturing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I ask how they met?
Oh, well, they met at Genie High School. Genie High, you know?
Oh.
Sure. Yeah.
Did they have like any sort of rambunctious like tricks or pranks that they would play on each other or their friends or their siblings?
Oh, you better believe it. Absolutely. They would like turn into each other, you know? Like they would pretend to be each other and go to class and switcheroo. But the press would be like, I know that's you, Shazam. Get back in her.
So they're the Weasley brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are any twins in any high school in America.
They're what I dreamt of when I saw the Olsen twins of what I wanted to do. Yeah.
One last question. I want to know what class they first met in.
Oh, they met in How to Get a Master 101. Yeah. And Shazam failed. So, yeah.
Well, yeah.
You didn't have to say that part.
Just if we're checking the transcripts, I just want to let you know.
All right. Absolutely amazing. Brad, now it's your turn. That's
it's really hard to follow.
I know, and you specifically chose a challenge for yourself.
I know. I should have gone first. That was really good.
So, Brad, your random character is E.T.
Yeah, the extraterrestrial.
Yeah, who you specifically said you didn't like.
I hate him.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a best friend.
Oh, but you're not going to... Guess what? His best friend hates him, too. His best friend's name is Janet. And Janet... Janet looks like E.T., but she's wearing red lipstick. And she has a blonde ponytail, but no other hair, just a single ponytail. The rest of her head is bald like E.T.
Take a breath, my friend.
You may have to start over.
I need a breath too. Oh my God.
Okay, sorry. She's got red lipstick on and she's got a blonde like ponytail and she hates E.T. So she's only friends with him because her mom knows E.T.'s mom, right? Like they're friends from back in the day. So she's like, you gotta hang out with him, Janet. He's like my mom's best friend. So she like tells her friend, she's like, I don't even like him. I just have to. And so, but then, but she does look out for him a little bit because, the kid kind of sucks. So she's like, God, it sucks to be E.T. So she like, she tries to like, when people kind of make fun of him, she like doesn't let it go too far. Last minute, she's like, okay, guys, calm down. That's my mom's best friend's son, So that's Janet.
Wow.
What was their first interaction together? Like, were they babies together or was it like elementary school?
Oh yeah, like their moms go way back, right? Like their moms are like good best friends from college. So they've known each other for, and they obviously like their moms are very progressive. They waited, they got careers, they had their own thing going first before they found men. They put career first. These were career-driven ladies. So Janet is similar, Sienna has the same thing. So when Janet was a baby, her mom, of course, wanted to get that friendship started right away. And Janet wore a suit and tie. Business suit. Obviously, her mom's a business lady.
So with so much shared history, why does Janet hate E.T.?
Because he's annoying. Have you talked to E.T.? That kid screams all the time. The kid is the worst. No one likes him. He gets beat up at school all the time. That's why Janet has to step in at the last minute.
Does Janet spell her name Jan E.T.?
Oh my God.
That wasn't my idea, but you gave it and I'm taking it. I'm running with it.
Your opponent will be giving you an occupation, and utilizing your occupation, describe what you would do to show off for a high school senior. And we're going to be starting with Katie again because that's how we already planned it before the luck of the draw. So Brad, can you please provide Katie an occupation?
Yeah, I think you're going to like this, Katie. I think it's a good one. So you are going to be a Dr. Quinn medicine woman. You are a horse doctor.
That's not what that show was about. We don't know what that show was about, but that's our guess.
Wait, she is a doctor, though, right? She's a Dr. Quinn medicine woman for horses.
Of horses, sure.
All right. So while Katie prepares her answer, Brad, why don't you tell us about something you've been watching, something you want to talk about, something you want to promote? What have you been working on? Anything like that?
Oh, I got nothing to promote except for our podcast, Well I Liked It. You guys can find us at Well I Liked It, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. That's all I do. That and work. So I got nothing to promote there. So let's talk about what I'm watching. What do you guys think of reality TV? Y'all on that chain? Anybody?
Okay, well, I have fallen down the reality TV hole before, mostly because of Reddit. Reddit is a good place to read things that happen.
I have stopped watching reality shows and just reading subreddits about it. Yes, do you guys do that?
I do. I don't watch
it's
it
so
anymore.
much easier.
I just read it.
It's so much easier. There's nothing happening in them. So like Teen Mom, I just read the subreddit just to see what's happening. And I'm just like Googling that. I just go in there. I haven't watched a show in like 7 years and I know exactly what all these girls are doing, even the ones who are no longer on the show. Thank you, Reddit. And then also Sister Wives. I've been doing that with Reddit too. Sister Wives is nuts, man. Katie's like, I can't. Sister Wives is crazy. I think someone's going to get divorced soon. I think it's heading that way, which would be scandal.
All right. So Katie, tell me about your horse doctor named Dr. Quinn.
Well, yes. So no relation to Dr. Quinn medicine woman, but I'm going to use that as my style. I wear a lot of big coats, a lot of big hats, and I just kind of work with that.
Fashion
when
icon.
I go, fashion icon. I make it work for me. Some cowgirl boots. Yes. I walk into career day and I point out, and I'm just going to scope out who is a horse girl here. I see you. I see your big teeth. I see those gums. It's okay, my friend. I have a place for you. It's called Horse College. Yeah. And I know you're not invited to the alcohol party clubs, and that's okay. Yes. Because you're going to learn how to dose out medicine, and you're going to know the right amount of drugs to take if you really want to do that. It's fine. It's fine. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Life is a romance novel. It's a romance cover novel. Sure, I'm lying. That's not true. You know, I'm by myself with the horses, but I'm going to paint that picture for them. And so that's going to be my strategy, you know? Yeah.
Targeted.
And then give out some pellets. You want to try them, you know? Yeah. See what they taste like.
Addicted to pellets.
Yeah. Some alfalfa pellets.
Are you insinuating that people with big teeth are dedicated to be horse doctors?
Well, you know, tell me I'm wrong, you know, because like it's a thing. Brad used to be a cat. He loved being a cat. So
what does that mean?
It's true.
No, I need an explanation immediately.
As a kid, I loved playing like I was a cat. You know, who didn't love being a cat?
Oh my God, I did the same thing with my cousins.
Now we need Katie to give Brad an occupation.
Oh, I didn't think about it. And here's what's going to come off my head right now. You are a celebrity landscaper. Okay.
So he landscapes for celebrities, or he himself is a celebrity who also landscapes?
That's like
I would like that to be left open for interpretation, please.
Okay, that's for interpretation. That's for you. Yes.
Are we talking about grass?
I would like that to be left open to interpretation.
Wesley, do you know what a landscaper does? They do a lot of shit, man.
I mean, my insinuation was more private.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, again, up for interpretation. We'll figure it out. Yes.
Okay.
You guys are very generous to each other. All right. So now we are going to take a little bit of time to talk to Katie. And same question as before. I think you heard it before, but let's chat. And what have you been watching, listening to? What do you want to promote? Anything you've been working on?
What I've been working on is I've actually been trying to do stand-up recently. So I've been doing some stand-up sets, and you can't catch me anywhere. I'm at places that I pay to do this. But eventually, maybe one day, you can catch me at a show somewhere in a sad little bar, and I can't wait for the day. And in terms of what I've been watching, oh my God, always, all the time, every day, 90 Day Fiance. Yes. The show needs an Emmy for these editors. Like, my favorite show. It's incredible. And like it is the best. I just cannot. But then when I'm trying to like work the other part of my brain, I'm like, let's like watch things that isn't trash. Actually, I've been watching Hacks on HBO.
Oh,
it's pretty
is it
new.
good?
I really, really, really like it. Yeah. The premise is basically there's like an older comedian, almost like a Joan Rivers type. And she's in Vegas. She does her shows. And then they hire a young comedy woman writer to sort of, you know, kind of balance each other out. And she ends up living with her in Vegas. And I like it. I like it a lot.
So, Brad, let's hear about your celebrity landscaper.
I forgot he was a celebrity.
That's your biggest appeal for teenagers. Oh my God.
So yeah, I think as a celebrity landscaper, the thing that I want to make clear about this guy is he's not just a celebrity landscaper, right? Like I'm actually an artist. So when I look at a lawn, that lawn isn't grass. That's my canvas to paint upon. And that's how I became a celebrity. So I am a celebrity landscaper who has a TV show about landscaping celebrity lawns. It's on HGTV.
Oh my God.
Okay? So how do I impress the kids, you ask? I got a TV show. That's how I impress those stupid kids. They want to be on the show with me.
They want to be on HGTV, really?
Kids love HGTV. If I know anything about kids, that's what I used to watch. So that's how I get the kids. I get them on TV. That seems inappropriate.
Oh no! What kinds of things do you do on your TV show?
So I go to celebrity homes and I mow their lawns into beautiful pieces of work. You guys ever watch Pepper Ann? Pepper Ann, Pepper Ann.
Yeah.
Remember the episode of Pepper
That's a
Ann where
great
her
joke.
friend, there's her best friend. He starts mowing lawns for extra money, does little arts on them. So like he cuts in certain ways to make sure he makes it look like a star, or make sure there's a little smiley face. It's nothing exquisite, you know. It's pretty like it's just what you can draw with lines, you know. I'm not a Picasso, but I'm better than my dog.
Of all the references I was expecting to come out of your mouth, Pepper Ann was not in my brain.
I don't think I've thought about Pepper Ann in like a decade.
So, Brad, the high schoolers are going to want to know, whose celebrities' lawns have you taken care of?
Oh, that's a great question, high schoolers. I would say the people that you might be most familiar with, definitely Rosie O'Donnell. I do her lawn every summer.
Super familiar, yeah.
Yeah, super. The kids love Rosie.
So then the final question is going to be a very new feature, unless I missed it in the last 2 weeks, but this is going to be a speed round. And we are going to have you briefly explain a fake ID for your opponent. The more ridiculous, the better. So this time we are going to finally get to hear Brad go first. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. Lucky Katie gets to relax for a little bit. So you have 30 seconds to, again, explain a fake ID for your opponent.
Okay, so Katie's ID is from Colorado, because Katie is a mountain gal. And also her name is Charlotte Webb, because she's a spider. And she's also a Black Widow. She's age 72. Killed her husband. That's all in her ID. It says it on there. It says she's got a little Black Widow sign. And it says that she's 5'6" because that's how tall she is in heels. And she thought that would trick them.
And all my 8 heels.
Katie, you get super lucky because you've had extra time to think about this, but now you also have 30 seconds to explain a fake ID for your opponent.
Okay, great. So Brad's fake ID is actually B. Dix, and he got it at the Hollywood store on the Hollywood Boulevard. It's a very fake ID, and it doesn't say any state. It just says Hollywood, California. It says that he's 14 years old because that's how old he wishes he could kind of start over. Also, when it says it's a blood donor, it says that he's been prom king at one point. So just make sure that everybody notices that. And the fact that he is in workshop B of his improv class. Yes.
That's
If I had
time.
a fake ID, that's exactly what it would be. That was perfect.
Okay.
Oh.
Katie, I'm going to have you take your headphones off.
Okay.
Okay, Brad. So this is actually a new question that we came up with. So that question you just answered is not the question.
Okay.
So Katie just gave you a fake ID, and I am going to pretend to be a liquor store manager, and you have to convince me that your ID is not fake.
The one she just gave me, the California Hollywood Boulevard one? God, okay,
Convince to me that is a real ID that I am going to allow you to use in a liquor store.
I didn't know this before either. This is amazing.
I think I missed the name. It's B. Dix.
B. Dix. Yep, my name is B. Dix. That's spelled B-Dix. It's a Latin name. One singular.
Oh,
yeah.
it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So it says here that you're a prom king.
I am a proud prom king. Yep.
Wow. And a blood donor. That's
class
pretty
of
cool.
2006.
Oh, class of 2000. It says here you're 14.
Oh, yeah. It sure does. This is way, in my high school, class of 2006 is actually, so class of 2006 is actually how we say class of 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're class of 2025 then.
Yes.
And you want me to let you walk out of this establishment with alcohol as a 14-year-old.
That's the legal age.
Oh, it's the legal age. So I'm not from California. Is that the legal age in California?
That's the legal age.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
great.
it. That's the legal age. Everyone in California is like, well, why is it so low? And I'm always like, don't fight the law. Just protect the law.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see how you made it into workshop B.
Worked my way up.
Okay, thanks, Brad.
Yeah,
let's have Katie put her headphones back on. Okay, Katie, as we just explained to Brad, that question that you answered is not the actual question 3. So the actual question 3 is, I'm going to be the liquor store owner, and you have to convince me that your fake ID isn't fake and that I should sell you alcohol.
Okay.
Charlotte, hey.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Oh, you look a little short.
Short? Excuse me. Well,
it says
I'm
here
wearing
you're
heels.
5'6".
Yeah, okay.
But you're not wearing heels. I'm looking at your feet, and you're not.
Oh, well, my posture, I actually got recently diagnosed with scoliosis, so...
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, is scoliosis more common in Colorado?
Yeah, and actually with my species, with the spider species, it's super, super common. When you go up to higher elevation, it's not commonly known, but you actually shrink a couple inches, so...
Okay. And it says here you're 72 years old.
Yes, I am.
You don't look a day over 26.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. That's so nice.
So, actually, you're a spider?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be like speciest or anything, but I'm not sure what the legal drinking age for spiders is.
My friend, you better not make me my next husband, because I'm going to chop your head off if you ask me another question.
How do you spell your last name?
My last name is Spider.
No, it's Webb.
But also Webb.
Your maiden name was probably Spider.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my many ex-husbands. I have so many surnames. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even take it through it. But the last time I updated my license is correct. It was actually Webb, and that's WEBB. 2 B's.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what it says here. So I'm glad you confirmed that. Thank you.
Great. What's my total?
Well, you actually didn't bring anything up. It was I don't know why you came up here. You didn't bring any alcohol up.
That was a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the funniest competitions I think I've ever had to judge. So
I would like to comment that we always say that, and I feel like this time it's really, really true. Like every time we have guests on, it just gets better and better and better.
No, fuck everybody else in the past. Those were all lies. Just kidding. I'm always trying to be insincere, but like this is. I mean, I'm sure I don't know how much Ben's going to edit out, but you heard me just maniacally laughing. So.
It was very fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
You guys did great. Thank you so much again. So question 1, to do just a brief little recap. You were each given a random character and you had to describe their best friends in high school. Katie had the genie, and she described his best friend as Shazam of the VHS that never existed. And Brad was given E.T. and described just a friendly girl named Janet, but hates him, but is still his best friend. So first of all, Katie, the creativity of that, of coming up with a character that just doesn't exist, I thought was so nice. The fact that it's not Sinbad, but like a Sinbad type was really good. And they used to be best buds before they were in the lamp, and describing that they met in How to Get a Master 101. I really liked. Brad, I mean, again, I fucking lost it. That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard of. That came out of nowhere. It was the last thing I was expecting. Just the physical description of that person, naming her Janet. Ben gave you a little bit of an assist with the
my god,
Jan
E.T. I just like,
but then you filled in the full backstory of they were babies just together, and the fact that they're only friends because their moms are friends, and that he's just annoying because he screams all the time. So yeah, that one I have to give to Brad. So question 2, again, your opponents got to give you an occupation, and you had to describe how you would show off for a high schooler. Katie was Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, only in name, and she was a horse doctor. And and Brad was a celebrity landscaper, which he promptly forgot was a celebrity. Dr. Quinn, I again love the physical description. Cowboy boots, yes, yes, yes. And then the fact that you kind of more wanted to be like single out people based on physical appearance and didn't care about a mass appeal of trying to recruit anybody to horse college. You just wanted that one person.
Not even horse doctor college, just horse college.
Brad, like I said, you pretty promptly forgot the celebrity part. But I have to give you a lot of credit for still including it in your answer. Like you did loop it in a couple times where it was very impressive. I like the idea, and I think you just kind of leaned into it of like, not only am I a celebrity landscaper, but I have a TV show, so I am also a celebrity. So like you forgot celebrity and then somehow figured out to make it both ways. Katie, I think your attempt to appeal to a smaller group is what's going to get you over the hump. But it was super, super close when Brad tried to appeal to kids by referencing Rosie O'Donnell. So that one's going to Katie.
So smart, so strategic.
Thank you. What a surprise. I mean, teens love Rosie O'Donnell. We all know that. Yeah.
Do they? I haven't heard her name in like.
They did. She's on TikTok.
I'm in schools, and I can say Rosie O'Donnell is number one in a lot of kids' hearts.
Oh my god!
Rosie O'Donnell, Olivia Rodrigo.
That's right. It's that order.
We're tied 1-1, and we are on to question 3, which we tricked you guys. So you had to first give a speed round of describing a fake ID for your opponent. And then the trick was that you then had to try to convince a liquor store owner whose wasn't a fake ID. Ben has the final judgment on this one because I'm gonna put that in his hands because he kind of led it.
Ooh.
But I want to say a couple of things first. I love that you both spelled out your names. I think that's absolutely hilarious. Brad, I love the confidence of trying to say you were the class of 2016, but then couldn't do the math because you were 14. And then ultimately just ended up trying to convince the owner of a liquor store that the legal age was just actually what you were. And then, Katie, I feel like you kind of got you got the harder job here trying to be a spider and work that in. But you had just some killer lines. Recently diagnosed with scoliosis.
Oh my God, what?
Which is very common with spiders. And especially when you go up to higher elevations because you're in Colorado.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah.
I also just have to respect that one sentence that you decided to go with an old lady voice.
Sentence, yeah.
And then you abandoned it. My probably favorite part of the whole thing was just your confidence to say, "What's my total?"
Yes.
So, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ben.
Ultimately, it came down to whose ID I felt was the most real. And Brad gave you, Katie, a real tough go making you a spider. Like, I believe Brad is just a 14-year-old trying to buy liquor. He may not get the liquor. You're more likely to get the liquor, Katie, but I believe that Brad's was more of a real ID. So tough draw, Katie, but yeah, Brad's going to take that last one.
Yep. So that makes Brad the winner this week with a 2-1.
Katie gave me a gift with that ID. I could not tell you that ID was genius.
I had it in my brain. I was like, I have to give him an idea of who he is with these little facts. And I cannot believe you made me a spider.
It said ridiculous and hard.
I thought, who is my friend Brad? Brad is Hollywood. Brad is his Instagram name. Brad was prom king. My friend.
Oh, I didn't know it had to look like you. I thought it was supposed to just be what you would try to do.
Well, Katie, Brad, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you plug your podcast one last time before we go?
Our podcast is called Well, I Liked It. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can also visit our website at welliliked.fun because .com was taken. And you can find us on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, kind of on Facebook. We're not really there, and on Twitter. So give us a listen. We watch movies from when we were young, and we take suggestions too. So you can also go to our website and put a suggestion in.
Have you guys done Hook yet?
No, we just got requested that.
We did, yeah. We got to do it. We got to do it.
Yes,
that was actually the first movie I ever saw in the theater. So,
and I've never seen it.
Oh, you are in for a treat, Brad. Let me tell you. Stop it, Emily. No movie holds up better in movie history than Hook.
Okay.
Anytime we get to watch Robin Williams again, it's a treat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Katie and Brad, for being here today. You were just a joy to have.
Thank you guys. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you for responding to my DM of inviting us to be on this podcast. I so appreciate it. We're such huge fans of you guys, and we love the fun that you have, and we like to have fun too. So this was a good time for sure. Thank you so much.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
This has been
and
amazing.
if you want us on to talk about Hook, there's no movie I want to talk about more than Hook.
Oh, 100%. Let's call it done. Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah. Great. Yeah.
Okay.
It's only fair. You wanted to talk about Superbad. Ben is dying to talk about Hook.
I really am.
Yes. Let's call it done. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
I don't think a movie gets more mentions on this podcast than Hook.
Really?
That's probably true.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please subscribe, rate, share us with a friend or two. We are on social media at IDYP_podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and check us out on email.
You said it again.
I fuck that up every single time. We're on email now.
Are you on email?
Podcast at Gmail. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so futuristic.
Yeah. Follow our email.
Thank you, Kevin Malone.
And next week we'll be having on Lacey and Mela from When Cinephiles Attack, and we'll be watching the movie Waitress.
It's a musical, right?
It is not a musical. It was
it's
turned
not a
into a
musical.
Broadway musical, but the movie is not a musical.
Oh, well, now I'm less interested.
I'm more
Leslie's
interested.
more interested. So thanks again for listening to us. Check us out next week, and we'll see you all later.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.